Good morning. Thank you everyone for coming out today. It's a great pleasure to continue our tradition, our rich tradition here at Liberty High School, where we've only been open now since 2002. You can see the impact by the numbers on the wall as far as our rich traditions, as far as our students participating in military service and serving our country. Again, my name is Felipe Piedra. I'm principal here at Liberty High School. I want to thank all of you for being here today, and thank you to all my graduates for taking this monumental step in the service of our country. At this time, I would ask you all to please rise for our Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you. And at this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our Learning Director, Assistant Principal, Ms. Candace Osborne.
Hello there. I'd first like to introduce our guys and just have you tell what part of the service you're going into and who you brought with you today. So we'll start with Alex. You can stand up, Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex Fields. I'm enlisting in the U.S. Air Force, and I brought my aunt and our close family friend, Nate, and they're also both in the U.S. Air Force.
Wonderful, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Quade Kofer, and today I brought with me some of my close friends, and my parents are joining virtually.
My name is Connor Hill. I'm going to the U.S. Navy. I brought my two parents, my great-grandparents, and my wonderful brother, and of course my recruited chief brother.
Hello, my name is Marco, and I'm joining the U.S. Army.
And you have a recruiter here?
Yeah, my recruiter is U.S. Army, yeah.
My name is Ben Souders. I brought my father and my recruiter, Sergeant Cochran and Sergeant Delatorre. And I'm joining the Army.
I'm John Quinn. Here with me today are two close friends, my mother and my recruiter, Sergeant Burrow, along with Ned Marie.
Thank you very much. I asked my father-in-law, Lieutenant Colonel Alvin Osborne, to come today to speak. Just give a little bit of his thoughts on the military. My husband was raised in a military family, and it is definitely something that I hold dear to my heart. And so, no further ado.
Thank you very much. It's, I would say today is a privilege and a pleasure for me to be able to meet new members of the military. I salute you, your families and friends who are your support package, the teachers, and the recruiters who give you guidance and also solve all the technical problems that are associated with re-upping or joining in the military. I would say I congratulate you on taking the first step and a commitment, and I use the word commitment, to serve your nation in the U.S. military. You raised your hand and you took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and bear true faith and allegiance to the same. Now, I took that oath, that very same oath, a few years ago. It was actually in 1966. And the full impact of the oath that I took at that time really didn't resonate with me until several years after I took the oath. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a couple of minutes. But I, like you, chose to serve my country by serving in the military to protect our freedom and to protect the Constitution. I started out, graduated high school, and then I went to Oregon State University, and I picked that school for a number of reasons, but probably the most important one, it had a 4-year ROTC, Reserve Officer Training Corps program. And during that 4 years, I got the training that you're going to receive in the military. And in the 4th year, the Air Force provided me the opportunity to earn my private pilot's license, which I did. And then when I graduated and was commissioned, I was given a ticket to pilot training, and off my family and I went for a year of pilot training at Williams Air Force Base in Chandler, Arizona. At the end of that time period, which would have been in 1967, the Air Force gave me an opportunity to choose a weapon system in an airplane that I wanted to fly in. So, realizing that at some point in time I was going to be in combat, I decided to pick the biggest airplane that dropped the biggest bomb on the biggest target. So I chose B-52 Stratofortress with Strategic Air Command, and the Air Force was more than willing to send me on my way. I went to nuclear weapons school, combat crew training, right up here at Castle Air Force Base up the road. And then in the late fall of 1967, reported to my first duty assignment, which was the 92nd Bomb Wing, 325th Bomb Squadron at Fairchild Air Force Base in Spokane, Washington. The impact of my taking the oath occurred one cold winter morning at Fairchild. I was a brand new second lieutenant. I was 24 years old. I was fully qualified in the B-52. And I was assumed alert, strategic alert, on a B-52 that was armed and sequestered in a secure area at Fairchild. And every morning, my crew and I would go out to pre-flight the airplane and the weapons on board. And it was my first time, so I went out, and when I entered the bomb bay, I looked up and there were 2 thermonuclear bombs hanging in the bomb bay, and they were probably a little bit bigger than a casket. You can visualize the size of a casket. And there they hung. They were 1.1 megaton weapons. Now, what that means in layman's terms, it's the equivalent of about 1.1 million tons of TNT explosive. So these were no firecrackers. These were the big ones. And I had 2 targets deep in the Soviet Union. That was my mission, to launch, execute the mission, and deliver those weapons on the targets. There probably was no return at that time, with threats being the way they were and the mission that I was on. It's a good possibility that I would not return. It was I tell you what, it was an awesome responsibility that I felt to my nation and to the people of this country who had entrusted me with that mission. And there was no doubt in my mind that if the horn went off and I was directed to launch and execute, that's where I was headed. It was a commitment that I had committed to in 1966, and I gave my word to the people of the United States of America that I would do what I was trained to do. That was my moment, and I guarantee you at some point in time, you're going to experience your moment where you realize exactly and precisely how critical you are as an individual military person to the success of preserving freedom and the Constitution of this country. We're all on the same team. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard. We're all together. We're fighting a war that we cannot lose. We're fighting battles that we cannot fail to win. There is no trophy for second place. And even though some of you may not see combat, you are all critical to the mission that we face to preserve freedom and democracy. Regardless of what your MOS happens to be, whether you're in logistics, supply, transportation, weather, medical corps, recruiting, whether you're in sea duty, in a submarine, an infantryman, we all have the same mission, and that's to preserve democracy. And you are all individually, as though the entire success depended on you alone, responsible for the oath that you took and the commitment that you make to serving in the military. I would suggest to you that military service is not a job, it's a profession. I personally was in over 26 years. Fought in 3 wars, actually 3. The Cold War, which ended in 1991, the Vietnam conflict, which ended in 1973, and the war that we are presently in right now, fighting forces that would destroy our Constitution and change America. So I'm following the commitment I made early on to protect my Constitution and my country. The military is 24/7 operation, as you all know. And even though they'll tell you that you are guaranteed 30 days of leave, time off here and there, that's all contingent upon the needs of the military. So you sign up to serve and you're dedicated in that way. There are no unions in the military. So when you say, I solemnly swear, and I do, that means that you're in it to win it. So you're in it for the duration. But I think, having said all that, the greatest feeling that I encountered was the recognition that I was doing something, serving a cause greater than myself, serving a nation that needed commitment and support. The military has changed a lot since I was in service. Wars are fought now on different battlefields. Nations fall or become irrelevant without a bullet ever being fired. But what has not changed is the commitment that you have guaranteed your country, the service that you are proud to give to the defense of this country and this nation's Constitution. The oath that you have taken or will take when you report for active duty has no time limit. There's no time limit on the oath. It makes you an exceptional keeper of the peace, and that you will serve and defend this country at any time and any place. That commitment is what the people of this country expect from you as a military member. And that's what the people mean when they come up to you and say, thank you for your service. They're thanking you for your commitment. Even though they may not know the extent to which that applies, they're thanking you for your commitment. Next Monday is Memorial Day. It is a time when this nation sets aside a day to recognize the service and the sacrifice of those that gave their lives in the defense of the country, who took the oath to serve at all costs and gave the ultimate sacrifice. And I would submit to you that we cannot fail to carry on that tradition, that expectation of the people, or to diminish their sacrifices by not recognizing it. So I thank you for your commitment to serve your country. I am proud of each of you. I am proud to be a member of the military. wish you great success and great rewards. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Osborne, for your service and continued service. At this time, let me first introduce myself. I'm Mr. Bondo. I'm the 12th grade counselor here, and I've had the privilege of being with these gentlemen the last 2 years and working with them and just guiding them through this. Not that I had any, they did this all themselves. I had nothing to do with this, but it's a privilege just to stand here and see them just assign to their commitments. So at this time, gentlemen, we ask you to go ahead and pick up your pens and go ahead and sign your name and put it on today's date. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for joining us today. We do have just light refreshments over here, and just come, take some pictures and congratulate our gentlemen. And we thank you for taking your time on your day to come and support them. All right, have a good day.